I have a thistle growing outside my front door, which I refuse to cut down because I quite like thistles, but it keeps setting off my doorbell. So if you hear buzzes throughout this episode, that is why. Hello, and welcome to episode 11 of the Crochet Studio Sessions with me, Dora from Dora Does. Today, we're surprisingly going to talk about crochet. So, thank you for all the lovely comments from the last episode on the Fluff It cardigan, which I had to put on today because summer has disappeared once again. I'm really loving this, and I'm actually going on a little mini break this weekend, so it's going to be in the sun, but you know when you never know how hot it's going to be. So this little beauty is coming to France with me in Emma, so watch out for some pics of that. This week I have another new, almost finished design to show you. Well, it's kind of new. It's just like Fluff It was a kind of extension of the Fluff It sweater. I have made an extension of the Mellow Waves cardigan. So this is a little summer shrug design that I made a couple of years ago. It was part of my Fine Lines collection. So that was a range of summer accessories, and this was the only kind of garment. All made with fingering weight yarn, and they all used extended double crochet, which is the principal stitch in this. That's US terms. So I love this cardigan. It's really wearable. It's great to just slip on over a vest in the evening. It's kind of fancy enough. It moves beautifully. Should we put it on? I feel like there's going to be trying on this episode. So yeah, this is great just for chucking over the top of things. It's a really simple make as well. There's almost no sewing. You've got a little bit of seaming here, but it's made essentially from top down on the back and top down on the front. There's loads of photos, like step-by-step photos in patterns, so you can see how it comes together. And this used less than 200 grams. So I had 2 skeins of this. It's like I think it was like a silk merino. Yeah. Maybe something else, maybe a teeny bit of cashmere. It was a really nice fancy blended yarn that I wanted to make something that I could wear because it feels so nice on the skin. So this is the Mellow Waves cardigan, or shrug, or bolero, or whatever you want to call it. And it's super popular, partly because it's simple to make. You don't need too much yarn, and it's just really wearable. So for a while I have been wanting to... Well, originally I was going to make a t-shirt. Let's just pop this to the side. Originally I was going to make a t-shirt version, kind of like that, with sort of shorter sleeves. And I started planning it, and I decided to change my mind because I had in mind some yarn to use, some 100% silk yarn that I bought from Charmaine Yarn Tings. A few years ago, actually. It was a little birthday treat to myself from East Anglia Yarn Festival. And I've been umming and ahhing about what to use it for, and I knew I wanted to use it for a summer top, but I had 2 skeins, so I had 200 grams, about 800 meters. And I decided it would work really well with this stitch pattern. But instead of a sweater or a t-shirt, like a little sleeveless top, when I started thinking about it and thinking about shaping and the amount of yarn, I decided to go with a vest. So one of the considerations with designing with this kind of pattern is it's a gentle, mellow wave, in fact, but you've got quite a big stitch multiple. So this is 14 plus 1 or plus 8, depending if you're doing a full zigzag or a zigzag. So you're kind of a bit limited as to the shaping that you can do. And when I started thinking about how I wanted to do a t-shirt, bearing in mind I was quite restricted with my yarn quantity and I didn't want to run out, I decided I'd go on the safer side and make a vest top. So the t-shirt's not completely out of maybe for next summer I'll do that. Anyway, so I'm going to show you the first sort of sample. So I was experimenting with shapes and styles for this vest top. I knew I wanted something with lots of drape, and I used this yarn here, which is left over from the Coventina cardigan. I obviously ordered way too much because I made the Coventina cardigan out of it, and then I made the Summerside tank top out of it, and I still have this left, and I've made a substantial amount of the vest, which is here. So you can see it's the same stitch pattern. There's a few differences. So this is very cropped at the moment, but I wanted to make sure I got the shaping around the neck how I wanted it. Let's put it on and I'll talk you through it. So I think this is, yes, this is the right side. So you can see, obviously pretty cropped at the moment. I've given this a very gentle block, literally just soaked it and laid it out flat, didn't even pin it, just kind of shaped it a bit. So the way you work this, let's just move the noisy chair. So the way you work this is you start off with the back strap. So I'll make that back strap and that back strap. These back straps are longer than the front straps. So you make the back straps and then you join the front straps and work down. You work this and this, or whichever way. And once you've worked the front straps, you join them and work a short bit of this kind of top front. So you've got much higher at the front than the back. Once you've worked the front point down to the same length of the back straps, you turn and you work in rounds around the body. So it's almost a little bit like a yoke garment, and that you work this, I mean, you're kind of doing it separately rather than in one piece, but you kind of work down and then you kind of split for the underarms. And the amazing thing is, it's actually really hard to see which side the seam is on. There it is, look, you can tell the seam is there. But I haven't, like I say, I haven't really blocked it properly. You can only really tell if you're looking, which I'm really pleased about. Sometimes when you're making a design like a yoke sweater, you kind of go around. You can either work in continuous rounds, which is not always suitable depending on your stitch pattern, or you obviously have to join. And like typically we hide it under the kind of side. That's what that part is called. So you hide it there. So generally when your arm's down, you can't see it, but it usually can be visible. But I'm really pleased with the way I joined the stitch pattern, that it's hard to see. So I'm literally, this has all been made with frothed yarn, and although I've kind of given it a soak, it definitely needed a bit of soak. It can throw the gauge off a little bit when your kind of yarn stretches out. But I'm really pleased. I'm going to just basically, on the length on this one, I'm going to keep going until I've used all that. So it'll probably be a bit longer than the pattern, this one, but I'm not sure how much yarn I've got or how it'll last. But I'm really pleased with the shape. The only thing I think I want to focus on for the final version is it has the potential to have a little bit of side boob, and actually it kind of looks all right. And I've made the strap short enough so you're not going to get loads. Like, I do love a top with a really low, sort of a big deep armhole, but it's not always appropriate. And with these vests, you don't want it too wide that it's falling off your shoulders. So it's that, you can see here, like it kind of comes forward. I mean, it doesn't help that I'm wearing it's just cotton vest on top, so it kind of sticks a little bit. So, and you can see it comes out quite a lot at the back. There's quite a lot of positive ease. There's about 20 centimetres, 20 to 25, depending on the sizes. But that's so when it gets a bit longer, it's like it'll be swooshy. It's not swooshy now because it's sticking to my top. But it'll have lots of movements. So this is actually quite far progressed. So I'm going to put my cardigan on because it's cold in here. Too much crochet? Nah. So I have, this was kind of a test piece so I could make sure I was happy with the construction and the stitch counts and all that kind of stuff. I've made a few little tweaks, but actually not very many. And then I started making it with the silk. So these, hiding in my little project bag, these were the 2 yarns. I've shared these before. And this is, whoops, just dropped it everywhere. So this is what the yarns were. One was called Fours. So they're 100% pure silk singles, so single ply. And this one is called That's Deep. So I'm going to assume that That's Deep is the blue one. And that Fours, Faves? Faves. What do we think that says? I'm not entirely sure. I might check in with Charmaine, who's the indie dyer who makes this stuff. I will tag her. But that's this. It could be Faves because it's just, look at those. It's like a rainbow. So, drink pause. Let's show you how we're doing. I've still got my hook attached. It's just, now it's going to look a bit messy because I've got 2 colours. But here is how far we've got so far, which is not, well, I've done the tricky bits. Once you get to this stage, all you've got to do is work the body, and it's a really nice, relaxing stitch pattern that you don't really need to think about that much. So it's a really good holiday type of make. It's just this first bit. So I'm going with stripes. So I've got this sort of blue, and then I've got a wide chunk. So I'll start off with a wide chunk of multicoloured beautifulness. And I've got a little bit of blue, wider bit of the multicolour, little bit bigger blue, little bit narrower. So it'll do that sort of crossfade stripes thing. I decided that was the way I wanted to split the colours in this. I think stripes was somewhere lovely. I've just done 3 rows, I think, of that blue that is at the bottom. So I've got another one of those to do. This obviously had no blocking. So it's about like that. That's the front. Now I wanted to show you because I'm really pleased with the way the straps join, because if you look on the back, you've got like a little seam that goes there, but on the front it's a really nice seamless join, so you don't get a jog where the straps join. It's quite hard to see on this, but when the pattern comes out, I've taken loads of photos again, like the cardigan, of the construction, because it's sort of a bit counterintuitive. Once I've done the straps with this, once I've finished the body, I will do like a trim, like on this one. I've done a trim around the collar, and it will go around there. And when I was talking about side boobs, I want to put just a bit of guidance in the pattern about if you want to sort of tighten this up, if you are worried about side boob. It's hard to grade for because it depends on bust size. I'm sort of middling-ish, I'd say, bust size, and it's all right for me. But if you have got a bigger bust, you might experience more of that. So I just want to make sure, and I probably will experiment a little bit with redoing these side bits just to give guidance on how to pull it in a little bit there, just to cover your bra up, basically. I mean, it is a summer top, so it's not like you could wear this over a bra or a swimming costume without too much issue, depending on how much of a modest dresser you'd like to be. It is a summer top, or you could wear it over a little cami top underneath, a little slip top, or this is like just a little Primark. This is actually a really good buy, like years ago, a little Primark vest top, so it works fine over that as well. It also depends on what colour you're working on. as to how much kind of contrast you're going to have with what's underneath. So this one, you could pretty much wear anything underneath that because it's got every colour of the rainbow. So I'm really pleased with this. Like sometimes when you're constructing something, it just comes together in a really satisfying way. And I like, because I'm working with such big multiples, when I'm grading it and I want to get 9 patterns, it can feel like a challenge when you've got a 14 stitch multiple and each zigzag is about 7.5 centimeters. So you've got a 3-inch multiple, which is kind of, you could work with half a chevron, but if you start doing that, the pattern gets quite complicated. It turns into for this size do this size do that, and I really like to keep things as simple as I can. So I'm really pleased with the way I kind of managed to get that to work out. Yeah, it's satisfaction. So that is what I'm working on at the moment, and I need your help because I need to know what to call it. So the original is called Mellow Waves, after the sort of chilled out vibe, and obviously it's a little wave ripple pattern. So I kind of want to play on that, and I just thought, do I call it the Mellow Waves vest? Is that too similar? And then I played with Mellow Moves, which just thought sounded quite fun, and then I went back to thinking just call it mellowed, as in, or mellower. So any ideas for names, drop them in the comments, and if I pick the name you choose, you get a free copy of the pattern, and maybe a little Ravelry voucher or something. Yeah, I really enjoy naming. It's really silly. I really like naming designs, but sometimes I spend hours writing lists of names and then come back to the first thing, and I don't. Is it important for anyone but me? That is the question. Oh God, that picture's wonky, isn't it? Sorry. Oh, that was a squirrel moment, wasn't it? My friend bought me for my birthday this year a print that just says, oh, look, a squirrel, because I'm very visually distracted by things. So on that note, and ironically, the friend that bought me that is the friend I am going away with this weekend for her hen party. So I'm keeping this short. I'm going to take this with me, and hopefully next time you see it, it'll look less like a pile of scrap yarn. So this is coming on the plane and to the beach and all sorts with me, which I'm very excited about. And that's all I have for you this time. I will be back in 2 weeks with the finished version. I'm committing to that. I've also got a festival to go to between now and then, so it's going to be a busy few weeks, but it's June, it's summer. There goes my doorbell again because of the flipping thistle. Shall I go and take a photo of the thistle so you can see what I'm talking about? I'm going to do that now. This here is the culprit. There's my doorbell. And whenever the wind blows, it's setting it off. How do I switch that off? Have a good couple of weeks. Name suggestions in the comments, and I will see you next time. Bye.